All right, Felisa, thanks very much indeed. In fact, we're going to follow up with that Ethekwini mayor and other ANC leaders in our next story. More and more former ministers are vacating their posts as members of parliament. The latest to tender their resignations, Jeff Radebe and Siyabonga Cwele. Now, this brings to 5 the number of former ministers who resigned as MPs after not being reappointed by President Cyril Ramaphosa. Last week, we saw Susan Shabangu, Zandile Gumede and Noma India Mfegeto also resigning their positions as MPs. Now, in the next few minutes, we'll get some analysis on that leadership dynamic. Also, regarding the story you've just heard of Ethekwini Mayor Zandile Gumede and the KZN PEC decision to force her to take leave of absence. To unpack all of this, I'm now joined by a leadership expert, Dr. Mazwe Majola. Thanks very much for joining us, Dr. Majola. Always a pleasure to have you in the studio.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Thank you.
All right. Okay, let's start with the situation in KwaZulu-Natal. We have this embattled mayor, and whilst everybody was calling her to resign, she was refusing to step down. And in the end, the province's PEC has put her on forced leave. What does it tell us about her leadership? Should she have done the right thing and said, I'll step aside until I clear my name? Or if she believes she's done nothing wrong, why should she?
Yes. Leadership is about honor, it's about dignity, it's about integrity. So what she was supposed to do immediately after she was charged was to say, I would like to step aside, not resigning, I would like to step aside just to give the process to continue without any interruptions. I would like to clear my conscience. I wouldn't like to disturb any processes there. This is not about the admission of guilty, but it's about just to give the people space to do their job. So it was very unfortunate that Zandile Gumede had to be forced and pushed by the PEC to take this 30 days leave. Because you can see that this was not on her volition. It was when the PEC really forced her and pushed her to say, you must step aside for a while so that the process can go uninterrupted.
So what does it tell us about the quality of some of our leadership in the public service? One gets a sense that maybe they don't understand the term public servant.
Yeah.
And more it's about them and having jobs.
Absolutely. It tells us about the lack and the dearth of integrity, of character. It's more about self-serving. It's more about themselves, satisfying themselves than the service. Because if someone knew that I'm serving the people, would have said, for the sake of the process and for the sake of the people and for the sake of my integrity, I would like to clear my name. So there's nothing wrong about just stepping aside and leave and give the process to move smoothly without any interruption. Because if you remember, one of the conditions from the court was that she must not interfere with the staff, with the operations of the administration. So how would she have, administered or rather pursued continued with her job if she was not going to interrupt with the staff and with the operations of the Ethekwini Metro? So as soon as she had that, she was supposed to say, PC or NEC, people of Ethekwini, I would like to step aside and just give the law enforcement to do its job.
All right, let's escalate it a little bit now. We have President Ramaphosa. He came out with his new cabinet. Do you think that it reflects his leadership style, the people that he's kept in and those that he's let go?
Definitely, it's a well-balanced. It's a well-balanced cabinet. you can see that really he took time to consult, to mull over, let me put this one, let me move this one. That is his style, you know. Although I always say that, unfortunately, any strength or anything that you do excessively, it becomes a weakness. You know, the definition of a weakness is an exaggerated strength. So if you do anything excessively, and then it becomes a weakness. So for himself, the consultation leadership style is a good start. But if you do it, it becomes a weakness. You become like
sometimes
a weak leader.
It's inappropriate.
Yes, you become like a weak leader or an avoidance style. It is you are avoiding to take decision. So for himself, he took time to consult, and then he emerged with that balanced. Of course, yes, there will be those one who will be sacrificed. As you can see that he introduced more new blood, and the old guards, some of them were put aside, and some of them, of course, yes, either of bitterness or either of protecting their own pensions, and then they decided to resign.
In fact, I was going to ask you that, because some people might say, hang on, we've got the former energy minister, Jamat Peterson, coming back as an MP. She was a minister in her day. And then these others have decided that if you're not going to make me minister, I'm not going to go back on the backbenches. Is it about pensions, or is it about I can't be a minister and then go to a portfolio committee?
It's a combination of all those. It's about bitterness, it's about discipline. You know, it's about if you don't choose me, therefore I'll leave. Let's make an example for Togo Didiza. Togo Didiza was there during Beki's, actually she has been there long ago. She actually entered parliament as very young. She was, during those days, she was one of those youngsters who, entered parliament. And then when Thabo Mbeki was recalled, most of those ministers, boycotted, or they others they left, and others they stayed. Togo Didiza continued as an ordinary member of parliament. At some stage, she was deployed to Tshwane executive mayor. She didn't make it. She went back to parliament as an ordinary MP, and now she has been given again the ministry. So there are those one who will be disciplined, who will stay, even though a person like Pravin Gordhan, when he was fired by Zuma, he didn't leave. He continued, just like Hanekom didn't leave, continued. But others, really, you would understand. A person like Jeff Hadebe, you know, and others, someone who has been there since 1994. He has served 5 presidents, President Nelson Mandela, Thabo Mbeki, Motlanthe, Zuma, and recently Ramaphosa. He has served 5 different ministries. So he has been there, for all these years, really. It would be understandable for him to say, let me go and spend time with my family.
But then again, you know, we keep coming back to, are you there in public service to serve, or is this a career? Because if you're there to serve, then you've put the interests of the public that you represent first.
Yes.
And it seems it could be questioned.
Of course, yes, definitely. It could be, because, you can see that most of these ministers, when they realized that they were not, selected and chosen for the new cabinet, and then they opted to leave, you know. There are those people who will be there for the rest of their life. You know, if you take, even though it's not an ANC member of parliament, but if you take a person like Mangosuthu Buthelezi, someone who's over 90, but he's there, you can see that person, probably he will really say, my life will end up in parliament. You know, I will be there as much as I'm needed to be there. But there is a person, he's got all the right to say, now I'm old, I would like to go home. But coming back to ANC, definitely you can see these ministers, they have that, I was not chosen, Therefore, I'm not going to continue as a member of parliament.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there, unfortunately. But thanks so much indeed for coming through and sharing your insights, as you always do so well. Thank you so much, Dr. Majola.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right.